This is Bells and Whistles Sport in association with ukboxing and Safer Training Solution. I'm here with Mel from Meltpr and TopRank. Thanks for taking the time for us to speak to us today.
No problem at all.
First, Mel, for people who obviously do know you and people who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into boxing?
Well, we are here in Miguel's boxing gym where it all started in 2013. And then from here I met Isaac Dogbe, and he went over to fight against Jesse Magdaleno for the WBO or WBA title in 2017. And that's when I got introduced to TopRank. They saw the kind of PR that I was doing with Isaac, and then they hired me themselves to cover their UK media relations. So if any of their fighters are fighting here in the UK, we do their UK media, we do the press campaigns for it, or if one of their top ranked fighters that are British fighting out in the US, then we'll bring the UK media out to America.
Brilliant, that's great. First thing I wanted to ask you, if anyone who wants to get into like media and boxing and stuff like that, what advice would you give them?
It's very difficult. It's very close circuit. You know, we had to push a lot, sacrifice a lot. It was a bit of a lucky shot. You know, if it wasn't for Isaac, I never would have met TopRank. Does that mean I would have ended up working for Matchroom or Frank Warren? Who knows? Because it's very, very closed sort of network. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. You should just, if you really want to do something in life, then just, I think if you're consistent, like a lot of these, you know, with your channels, online media channels, you know, YouTube channels, which the industry knows I very much back you guys, and I always make sure that you guys are part of the campaigns. But what I ask in return is that you're consistent. You know, you do travel to the events and you do cover as many of the events as possible, and, you know, not give up.
Talking on events, we'll get straight to like what's happened recently in Vegas.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder beat Tyson Fury 2.
Yeah.
Tyson, unbelievable performance.
I know.
Stayed up late, early hours in the morning to watch that fight.
Thank you.
He said he's going to knock him out, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
What was it? I want to ask you, what was it like leading up to the fight, the press, the media? What was it like out there? Was it probably one of the biggest ones you worked on?
Yeah, it was a very long campaign. I mean, it didn't just start from just that fight. It started back from his fight against Schwartz, you know, back in June, and Wallin in September in Vegas. You know, those two fights was what was introducing him to the US market, and TopRank did a fantastic job. You know, they got him on all the top, you know, TV shows and doing live appearances and getting the best writers and the best US, you know, media to launch his career. There was a very famous interview with Mark Kriegel on ESPN where he did something about his mental health, which we kind of had a bit of an influence in. And I think that's why the American market fell in love with him. And he is so, you know, straight up about his life. He doesn't mess around. And I think that's why the American market fell in love with him. And it was obviously a shame because we couldn't do so much marketing, obviously, back in the UK. But it worked through BT Sports, obviously, covering the fights. But this last campaign is where it was like, you know, full throttle. Everyone gave it all they could, you know, all they could. I went out there from the beginning of January to, you know, assist with the media and PR for his campaign, and worked alongside obviously TopRank. So the whole UK media came out. We had a fantastic turnout, and it was a very long, grueling campaign, but at the same time, you know, it was needed, and it was one of the best fights that I've seen of him.
Yeah, it's my favourite fight I've seen of him as well. Unbelievable. I was from start to finish. I've dominated every round.
Yeah.
And it looked like he probably could have got him out earlier as well. That's how bad it was a fantastic night.
But the thing is, he shocked all of us. Like, he did have a closed camp. You know, he was very open about that. We didn't have cameras in camp. He was very particular about who came in and out, who filmed him. And it kind of made sense. His family is very protective over him, which is completely understandable. And it made sense on fight night why they had a closed camp, because it was almost like a surprise to all of us that he was going to act that way. We were all confident that, you know, he was going to win, but win like that? No one could have predicted that.
No, it was an unbelievable night, and obviously there's going to be a third fight trilogy. You probably won't say too much on that, but they are talking maybe like July.
Yeah.
Do you see it only ending one way again?
Personally, no, I don't want to say that, because I think anything can happen in boxing. It really is down to who wants it more on the night, you know. Did he destroy Wilder? Yes, he did. So naturally our impression is that he's going to do it again. I hope that he does, and I wish that he does, definitely, because he deserves that. However, you don't know what happens in boxing. Anything can happen.
I read comments recently. Bob Aaron's come out recently today and said that it's going to be maybe Deontay Wilder trilogy, then maybe Anthony Joshua late winter, and then Dillian White in February next year. Is that realistic 100% realistic from Top Rank?
I mean, generally when Bob Arum says something, it tends to happen. But until we officially announce it on the Top Rank pages, on the Premier Boxing pages, then I wouldn't buy too much into it, because anything can happen. You know, there's still probably lots of negotiations. Actually, in PR, we are pretty much the last to find out anyway. So you kind of keep that day in your diary as a possibility. But until it's officially announced, you know, I wouldn't book anything just yet.
I want to talk about Josh Taylor. So Josh Taylor's recently signed with Top Rank. Unbelievable signing that is. Big fan of him. What do you think Josh Taylor brings to you guys now, being a unified champion?
Well, I don't know too much about him personally. Obviously, I got to work opposite him when I was covering Regis' program. That's who I represented for that fight. But after the fight, we had a chat, and you know, he seems like a really great guy. I hope now that he's with Top Rank, we can know more about him. I felt that there wasn't too much coverage on him and his past, and I think that's why Meltpr is doing so well, because we really dig deep into the fighters and their backgrounds, and you have to find something unique about them. And I think that's why we're sort of kind of bringing a new style to doing PR, is that we really dig deep and we try to find something interesting to put it out there to the fans, because the fans are really interested in where they eat, sleep, where they've come from, what do they like, you know, what's their dreams, what's their aspirations. So I think with him being at Top Rank now, it will give him a chance to open up who he is. And, you know, his fans, they're just hardcore. We saw it at the O2 that night, you know, they all turned up. So I'm happy for him, and I hope that everything works out well for him.
Obviously, one fight us fans would love to see one day is him v Jose Ramirez, maybe to make it undisputed champion. Yeah. Now they're both both sides with Top Rank. Do you see that fight realistically happening?
I think Bob Arum may have a plan up his sleeve. I can't comment. I don't know.
Fair enough. Going to move on. You also spoke about Regis Broga. You worked with him last year.
Yeah.
He's going to be fighting Morris Hooker.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic fight. I'm looking forward to that fight. I'll be staying up. Definitely watch that. Will you be over there in Vegas again?
We're not sure. With these fights and these campaigns, you know, you only find out nearer to the time. There's a lot of logistics involved. We'll see. You know, I just spent some time with them in LA after Vegas. I always take some time off after campaigns because you get so drained from them. And to be creative, you need a kind of a refresh. So I went to LA and I checked out Churchill Boxing Club. You know, the people that I used to email and speak, you know, over the phone during that Regis Prograis Taylor fight, got to meet them face to face, and they've got a really nice setup there. They've obviously just started camp, so I have seen them, and you know, he's in great spirits. I'm just so happy that he's still so loved by the British market, and I think, you know, I understand everyone says, you know, you did such a great campaign, and we did promote him very well, but it is down to him as well as a person. You know, he has got a fantastic character. He's so lovable. He's someone you can't shut up. Like, he will literally talk forever, to the point you're like, Regis, enough. Like, not to the, it's usually the other way around, to the media. You're like, stop. It's with him, you know, which is fantastic. But it's just so nice to see that the Brits are fully behind him. And you never know what's going to happen down the line. Maybe him and Josh will come face to face again. That
would be another major fight if it does happen again.
Yeah.
Also, you've got Michael Conlon fighting very soon as well.
Yeah.
And then news
turn
it
upside down.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, there will be no beer left, ever. Yeah. It will be a very good fight. But yeah, no, we're looking forward to that one as well. That should be a good campaign as well. And
then, as I was saying, any news on Terrace Court as well? Maybe fighting again this year?
Yeah, there's talks. Yeah. But again, you're not going to get anything out of me on that. Unless something is officially announced, I am not saying a word. I value my job. I'm not going to give you the scoop.
Okay, one thing I would like to talk about as a fighter who you find quite interesting, he's come from cruiserweight and now he's gone to heavyweight, is Oscar Rivas. Mm-hmm. He's obviously signed with Top Rank. You reckon he'll be fighting anytime soon? And are you excited by the fact of him?
I watched him. Obviously, that I think was the first. I can't remember which fight it was.
Dillian Whyte.
It was a Dillian Whyte fight. I was really impressed by him. You know, he's got a really nice personality about him as well. Like, sometimes when you're looking at fighters, you have to find something about them so you can PR. You know, the thing. But again, unless something is officially announced, we won't know. But I'm sure, obviously, Top Rank are very good at getting their fighters out there, doing right by them. So I'm sure they'll make the right decision.
We want to talk about, obviously, Miguel's gym. So let's talk about some memories you had here since you've been here.
Memories. Yeah, amazing. Obviously, when I first came in, not many people were kind of familiar with the publicist aspect. They're like, publicist? Well, we don't need a publicist. I remember Richard Williams was literally around the other side. I was like, hi, I'm, so-and-so's publicist. So publicist, But eventually down the line, he got it. It's not something commonly found in boxing, so obviously it's something that I think people are more becoming used to it. And it started off with just being, accepted, and I think that's what's taken. It's taken a lot of years to be accepted in this industry. But again, like I was saying to you, with what you're doing, if you stay consistent with what you're doing and you get the results, then people will be more, open to you. It's just very cliquey in boxing. So we've got some fantastic memories. There's so many people that have done well for me. You've got Dillian White, Richard Riakporhe, Isaac Dogbe. There's many people.
Isaac Chamberlain come through as well.
Exactly, and Isaac Chamberlain. And, they've all supported Pesta as well. Pesta as well. There's loads. So it's just so nice to come back. I've only been in the UK for a week, and I thought, right, I'm going to get down to Miguel's. There's a junior amateur club training thing going upstairs. So I want to just go and speak to them. We're doing like some Q&A and try and give back and give them advice outside of the ring as well. A lot of fighters, they don't have the right advice, or they don't have the right management, or they're looking for management. So it's important to try and give them as much information so they're fully equipped, because obviously it's such a risky job what you're doing. At the same time, you have to make sure that you've got your backup plan in place as well, just as much.
Brilliant. One last thing I'd like to ask about.
Yeah.
What sort of advice would you give to any boxers who come in who's maybe got in trouble with knife crime and stuff like that, and struggle with mental health? What do you say to anyone who's looking to get into boxing? Well,
it's funny you should say that, because I also represent Mark Prince, Dr. Mark Prince OB, who has the Kian Prince Foundation, who lost his son to knife crime. He was an aspiring youth football player for QPR, and he's done tremendously well. He's got the naming rights for QPR. He's obviously got the OB, and he's doing fantastic work inspiring kids. So I get to see a lot because of Mark. He does open me up to that world, and I learn a lot from it. They just need guidance, and they just need to feel like they're not alone. The school system is severely pressurised. They have so much pressure on them to deliver, as well as also the police side of things. You have to look at every...
And a few cuts as well and a piece as well.
Exactly. You can't just blame one thing, but I think parents also need support as well. It's a real tough world out there. I don't personally have kids. I couldn't even imagine what it must be like. So Mark and myself and his amazing team, we do as much talks. We go and do fundraisers. We work closely with QPR. We've got loads of things lined up this year for Mark Prince. Definitely, everyone should check him out. So that's what we try to do. We try to inspire them. So if I have a child in front of me, I just try and speak to them, give them comfort, ask them what they want to be, and try and, inspire them that they can be anything they want to be. They just need that guidance and just feel like they're being heard. I think it's so important.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Mel. Thanks for taking the time to sit down and talk with us.